What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Plastic Arts Podcast, the show where we break down the video game news of the week. My name's Fonzie. I'm joined by my co-host, Gavroni Jones. Gavin, how the heck are you?
I'm Fonzie. I'm furious.
You're furious.
We see,
Lay it on me.
We got IGN. They're unionizing.
I heard that.
And make sure they have good contracts and working conditions. And my contract and working conditions with this podcast is crap. So I am joining a union. It's, a lot of podcasts have like the chatty sidekick.
Yep.
So we're the chatty union members, and we got a whole squad of us. We're the cum boys. So
you want to read? Is that an acronym or it's just what it is?
Yeah, the chatty union member squad.
Okay, it took me a second.
So I'm furious. How are you? Tell me about you. I'm your
great.
Chatty.
I'm going to deny your union request, but because technically you're not an employee because none of us get paid to do this.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we can figure it out. But I've been all right. I'm not union busted or anything lately.
You're not union busting with
the
cum boys?
With the cum boys. I'll pick it with the cum boys out there. I have my own ideas and demands, but one of them was to clone Rosario Dawson and disperse them to every
I think
person
this
in
would cause
America.
world peace.
Oh yeah, 100%. We take as we're watching Josie and the Pussycats, we take Rosario Dawson for that movie, and just end world hunger somehow because of that.
I don't know about world hunger, but at least peace. So we'll be.
You just won't have any other needs. You just I wouldn't be hungry, angry. If I could just walk around next to her, I'd be happy.
Yeah. She can have my food. I need not to eat.
Yeah, whatever I could do to keep her around. Been good. Living life.
You've been watching anything? Clearly, we're watching Josie and the Pussycats, which I've never seen.
Have you not watched all the way through?
No, I've never. This is the most I've ever seen of it.
Damn.
It was not on my. I don't even remember when it came out.
Yeah, so it's like 2001 that it came out. Yeah,
so,
it's a classic. You got to watch it. You were struck by the product placement, and that's the whole point in that movie. Is just a comment on whatever capitalism
I see
and
your
stuff.
other art here.
Other thumbnail,
going.
yeah,
that's pretty amazing.
But yeah, it's great. You gotta watch the whole movie. Maybe it's on YouTube and we can just watch it right now.
You got the old one. Oh, they probably do. Yeah.
It is a free movie,
go.
so you can watch this.
Do we have the year though?
The year that it came out was 2001.
Damn, that's a good guess.
I'm not going to show that Universal logo.
You know what else of 2001 Famage that I did watch this week, which I did tell you about. Finally watched The Fast and the Furious.
Oh yeah, which one did you watch, or did you complete
The Fast and the Furious?
Oh, I see.
The very first one.
So kind of the reboot one. Oh no, this is the original one.
Yeah, never seen the original. Never seen a Fast and Furious movie, which I told you I messed up my quest immediately by watching Fast and the Furious, which logically is how you would name the first one in the series.
But it's like the fifth one, I think, technically, or fourth, but it's a reboot of the series, sort of. It's just getting the band back together, basically.
Yeah, and if you ever actually line up all the DVDs back to back to back, you will find that their naming makes no sense.
No.
Like Too Fast, Too Furious, then The Fast and the Furious, which I don't know how that's. Well, no, it was Tokyo Drift.
Tokyo Drift.
So then at that point we're doing the colon subtitle. Then the Fate of the Furious thing, you have Fast X, so we got Roman numerals, you have numbers sometimes. Yep. Sometimes they spell out the number.
F8, Fate of the Furious is one.
Yeah, it's...
Now in this one, they're just, which everyone keeps pointing out as they get more and more ridiculous, but...
Stealing DVDs?
They're just stealing DVDs.
Yeah, DVD players, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're right, yeah. Back when they were, like $300, I guess, each?
Yeah, it is cute, it's so fun to watch it and just kind of think, you guys have no fucking clue. Where you're gonna be
in 20
years from now, how normal this movie kind of is. It is it is very much a time capsule for 2001. But it's
and those cars no one thinks are cool anymore. It's really a product of that time.
Also something that was kind of I only found out because of something else, I guess. What's her name, Dom's sister, is supposed to be a minor, but then they took it out because they felt weird about it. So that's why I still love this scene. It made me die laughing. Was they're at the party and he's like, "Can I get you something?" And she says, "Yeah, I'll take whatever." And he hands her a fucking Snapple.
Yeah, they're just, they're making sure that they're legally able to do that.
Yeah, but it's great. They actually make you like the characters. They make you like Dom because of his story with his dad.
That's back when he was cool. Vin
Yeah.
Diesel was pretty cool because he's just like this weird dude that doesn't talk much.
Yeah. I don't remember him looking this young. He is so young. He does
yeah.
not look like a melted Mr. Potato Head yet.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, partially because he was not like, he's buffer, but he's getting older. But yeah,
Right.
he just, yeah, it's crazy.
That's awesome. So are you going to go, is the plan to rewatch all of them or just kind of as you go along, jump into one?
I could probably watch all of them. I think the big thing, we've had the board game.
Oh, right.
So Lily got that for me as kind of like a joke.
Yeah.
But it's also like ridiculously high rated board game because it's made by like this legendary board game designer. So we got to play it. But there's like, it's co-op and there's 3 missions. So there's you taking on a helicopter. So you take
this is the board game you're talking about.
Yeah. So there's a truck, there's a helicopter, and a tank, and those are the 3 missions. So and you're hopping from car to car and
is
truck.
it still random or a dice involved or like?
I don't think so. I think you have a deck of card, and
Oh.
also the vehicles have a deck of cards. So whatever card comes up next, that's what you got to deal with.
I see.
So
I'm gonna tell my kids this is Dungeons and Dragons, then, and this is what we play.
Yeah.
instead of, that's
yeah,
awesome,
amazing. What have you been watching? What you been playing?
man. You know what? I haven't been watching anything. I've been playing a bunch of Death Stranding. I was telling you that
That's right.
after the State of Play, it was the last Wednesday, they dropped the newer trailer for Death Stranding 2. And I just like, for some reason, watching that again, it's like, I want to play this. I've never had the desire to go back because it's such a long game.
Sure.
And didn't come out that long ago. It was actually 2020 or 2019 November. It's like right before the shit hit the fan with the entire world falling apart. So went back and it's just, I'm hooked. I can't stop playing it.
Now, when you play it, is it, because I've never tried it, is it kind of like meditative, almost like when you're playing like Breath of the Wild or whatever, and you're just I'm going to enjoy
I think
my
that's
walk?
a lot of it. Yeah, because a lot of people throw around this word walking simulator with the game.
Sure.
And I don't think it's that at all.
It's
because
a hiking simulator.
There you go. It's exactly that. It's a hiking simulator. You're walking. That's one of the components, but you're balancing the stuff you're carrying. There's vehicles. So it's like, it's not just walking around, but that is a big part that you are on foot. But there's like all these stuff you can get. You can get different robots to help you walk. You have like an exoskeleton. You have vehicles. So all this crazy stuff. But then, yeah, it's very meditative where you're just walking around these really beautiful just vistas, landscapes.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be you're walking across the United States, but it does not look like this at all. It's really basically like Greenland or Iceland, like that kind of like crazy topology.
Oh, what's with the whales?
That's the thing. If you have no idea what this game is, the trailers make no sense because it's a lot of just like really weird imagery.
Okay.
And it makes more sense when you play the game, but it also makes less sense when you play the game.
Fair enough.
But Kojima's, I mean, if you play his other games too, like, Metal Gear Solid, he kind of goes for, I think it's like, I like how this thing would look, and then I'm going to put it in the game, and then I'm going to try and figure out why it's there. So like the whales that are beached, or the black, like, phasing in and out monsters that are flying around, all that stuff is there. It's just like, he almost like decided that first, and then like, how do I build a story around it? But it works. So like, at least in this world, the stuff is supposed to make sense, and they talk on and on about it.
Oh, you got your little pet robot.
There's robots helping you walk. You're transporting goods across.
This is the first one?
This is the first one. It launched on PS4 originally. It's a beautiful game too.
Bunch of locations I don't remember seeing in trailers.
Yeah, you go through different, there's foresty areas, there's snowy areas. There's these really cool that's like octagon or polygon rocks formations that exist somewhere in the world.
Oh,
it's a bunch of that kind of stuff. Crazy, mountains that you're traversing and canyons. The villains are ridiculous. Troy Baker's character especially, but it's really, really
that's
cool.
right. I forgot, and I guess he's back for 2. He's
back.
Looking crazier than ever. He's got his crazy guitar
yeah,
coming at you.
Yeah, it's badass, and I just can't wait for that sequel. It's still like a year and a half at least, around a year away. But man, this game, and I'm playing it on PS5. They put out a director's cut that's really just like up the frame rate, but it's still, I don't know, just a gorgeous game. Like you could play this on PS4 and it'd still be awesome.
I remember this looking good. I don't remember this looking this good.
It does. It holds up.
Wow.
Yeah, I originally played it on PS4 and it's like 30 frames per second. But the combat still feels fine at that. But then playing at 60, it's like that's what I kind of prefer now.
So that's the other thing is you think of this as like a very meditative game. Do you dread the combat at all, or is the combat fine?
You get the hang of it as you go along. So as you start playing it, the BTs, they call them, like the weird goopy monsters that
The
jump
big tacos?
around. The big tacos?
Yeah. The
Um,
BTs.
The BTs, yeah. I'm late to the game on the Cumboys, but yeah, with the BTs, like they're scary, and it's kind of made to make you feel that way. So you're sneaking around, you're trying to avoid combat, and then as you get more comfortable with the world and as you unlock different stuff, you can fight them, or at least feel more confident, like distracting them and running through to get what you need to do. There is like assault rifles eventually, like that's what I just unlocked playing the game.
Okay.
But it's not fun, that part, like the actual like gunplay. It's really just fun doing everything else you can to fight, like the humans or the BTs in the game. That's one thing. The trailer, I watched a breakdown of from somehow, I think it was like GameSpot, that they kind of hint at more combat in the game for the sequel.
Okay.
Which I wouldn't be mad at if they like focused on trying to make that fun. I think this in the original game was just kind of something they threw in there that it's something you can do, but it's like it's not a first person shooter or something like that, or a third person.
I guess that's something. I think you've played more Metal Gears than like I've never really played very much.
I played the last one, 5, a lot. That one was awesome.
I do kind of feel like combat's never really been Kojima's strong suit. It's a lot of at least from my limited understanding.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's more, I think the focus is just being sneaky.
Sure.
And kind of avoiding combat and the idea of not being noticed. But at least in 5, there is a heavy emphasis on if you do want to use combat, it's there and it's actually fun.
Yeah, but you're just calling like the full battle bus of people from back in your thing, right? That's the one where you like get people with the balloons and you can bring in the whole group?
They can help you from what I remember. But you're basically, that's like a side meta game where you're building a base somewhere else. But yeah, I think combat still is strong in his games. It's just he excels at other stuff. And then the story, there's a million cutscenes that are like an hour long. But everything's acted really, over the top. I wouldn't say it's over the top, but like on purpose. But like the actual motion capture is nuts. Like everything's beautiful. Yeah, I highly recommend. It's on PC now. You can play this game. It's great.
Now for 2, there was a lot of people that were very excited for who's the gal that's in it?
Chloe something, Lesu.
Oh, doesn't she
the French lady?
I thought she had like the same last name as Fanning, something Fanning.
Oh, Ellie Fanning. Yeah, she's a sister of one of the Fannings. She's in it.
Of like Dakota. Do you know why people are so excited for her to be in it?
I don't. No, she's just another person that is going to be in the game. But I don't know what her character is yet. They just kind of they show her in the trailer, but she's just someone. So I'm not sure.
Okay. Or maybe it was I almost feel like, was it she leaked something or it got leaked that she was in it? And maybe that's why people are so excited because it was something.
I think a year ago, because they were starting some of the characters were like posting stuff, some of the actors.
Right.
And I think maybe people were like, oh shit, she's going to be in, Death Stranding 2.
Right.
I'm not sure going back there. The Leah Seydoux and Ellie Fanning is the chick you're talking about. But Leah Seydoux is the French chick who is also in a James Bond movie. She's awesome.
Okay.
She plays Fragile in this game. You got to play it. I mean, it's definitely not for everybody.
Was Fragile this game or that was Metal Gear Solid 5?
That was this one.
Okay.
Quiet is a character in Metal Gear Solid 5. Yeah.
Yep. You figured out what I was doing wrong there. Okay. Okay.
But so I haven't been consuming anything else because it's basically a movie within a game. So it's like I'm watching this, I'm playing this.
Well, should we talk about the PlayStation? I want to call it a direct. What was it called?
State of Play.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's
dive into
off the top of my head. For sure, we got Death Stranding gameplay. Which did you watch that trailer at all? We did talk about the Troy Baker stuff.
Yeah, I got a few clips of it. I never actually.
I was watching with Callum, who we do the PlayStation podcast with.
Nice.
And he had never played Death Stranding either. And so as the trailer gets more and more ridiculous, he's just like, "What the hell's going on?" And I'm just sitting back like, "Yep, this is what it is," and I'm all for it.
Something somebody pointed out is this is, I think, the actual first next gen only game or current gen or whatever you want to call it for this what's the engine called?
Decima.
Yeah, this
that's
is the first
true.
one
Technically,
for Decima.
if you want to split hairs,
split them.
Horizon Forbidden West DLC was PS5 only.
Oh,
but yeah, because that did start cross gen, and then Death Stranding 2 was cross gen with PS4 to PS5. So yeah, this would be the official like full release PS5 game from that engine.
gotcha. That's so weird that the Horizon thing wasn't cross
Yeah,
gen,
I don't
was
know
it?
why. I don't think it did anything that couldn't be done on PS4.
Okay. Did you
This
end up playing that one?
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, I
Oh,
love that whole series. It's
nice.
awesome. But as you bring up
I love how the
that
baby's little wings flap as she's running. It's
yeah,
so cute.
and that's one thing people don't know as they break the trailer down. It's like you have your BT, your baby in a pod that help
Mhm.
you deal with stuff in the world. And
Wait, the baby's a BT and the monsters are a BT?
oh, sorry, the baby's called BB. That's what I mean.
Oh,
It's a
it's called
whole
baby?
yeah. It's just BB is what they call it. Yeah,
Oh,
it's like that's BB.
BB.
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
but in the trailer, it seems like the baby's out of the pod, like growing up. And I
Okay.
don't know how that works in this world. It's like they don't really grow outside of the pod, and they don't even consider them like babies. They just like like part of the storyline in the first one is your baby or BB becomes defective, and they want you to just throw it away because it's just hardware. And
The baby is hardware.
yeah,
This is like a drill that may have. Okay.
that's what they consider it. It's super weird, but so
What
they
is
don't
it
really
supposed
think
to
they're.
do?
It's in the game. It helps you notice those the black goopy monsters. You can't see them
Oh,
really.
okay.
So
Okay.
they give you like the sensor that tells you where they are because they're connected to the afterlife. It's a whole fucking thing. But the babies are in this in between thing that helps you see.
Okay.
But yeah,
The hell?
the goopy physics. There's a better term for it, but it looks nuts in this.
Goopy, I think Kojima would, if he were going to patent it, he'd call it Goopy Fizz.
Yeah.
We got Metal Gear showing up? What is.
Oh, and Megan reminds us the BB's name is Lou, which Norman Reedus' character,
Oh, okay.
I think it nicknames BB Lou.
Okay.
And Lou turns out to be a girl. I think they call her something else at the end of the game. Spoilers.
Luis.
Yes, I think it is something like that.
Oh, nice.
But you got to play it. I mean, I'm so stoked for this sequel. I cannot wait. And I just love that he's able to just kind of swing for the fences every time. And he seems to nail it in my mind where it's just absolutely nuts.
He's very good at. Oh, and here's the. Yeah. Whoa, with the organs. Oh, it's creepy.
You know, I didn't catch that first. Yeah, because
I don't
you
like
defeat
it.
him. I just forget how. So
Uh-huh.
he's coming back as some kind of weird entity.
We got a tentacly boy.
Yeah, the tentacles are big. There's a lot of those imagery, a lot of this imagery in the trailer. So tentacles have something to do with it.
Wow. Now, do you know how many games is Kojima Productions working on at this point? I thought it was like 2, if not 3.
That's one thing in the state of play. So they announced another one. So you have the Xbox game, which is OD, I want to say, which has I always want to say Key and Peele, but it's
Keegan-Michael Key or
that's the other guy,
Jordan Peele.
Jordan Peele.
There we go.
That's that game they're working on that they just have a title. Like I don't know how far along that's in advance.
Is this Creepy Door game?
That's a creepy door game. So
Okay.
that one that they're working on that. Then Death Stranding 2, and then they announced at the end of the state of play there's another espionage military game that's basically like him making Metal Gear Solid again as a new franchise. That's only
okay.
for PlayStation that they're working on after Death Stranding 2 and after OD. So
Wouldn't it be great if, because at one point during Metal Gear, they like changed voice actors. If for this new game, they just go back to the old original Metal Gear
interesting
voice
because that guy's still around. I know they switched
Yeah.
from him to Kiefer Sutherland,
Right.
and that was drama. But yeah, so I'm excited. But yeah, it's that newer espionage game is got to be like PS6. You know, it's like that's a long ways down the line.
Probably. I don't even know how they're big enough to work on 2 games of this scale. These
Yeah.
are not easy to make.
Right. And maybe OD, people are breaking this down online too. Maybe OD is smaller in scale, so they can kind of whip it out according,
Could be.
maybe get through that. It's not like an open world like a Death Stranding, so maybe it happens faster. But in this day and age, all this stuff takes a super long time.
Yeah.
But they did talk about Death Stranding 2 in that state of play. They did show off more of Judas. Did you watch any of that?
I did.
It looks nuts.
I'm very excited. This trailer compared to the last one, this one confused me more.
Oh yeah, just like we're talking about Kojima, it's like it's just kind of throwing everything at you and confusing you, but giving you a taste of what to expect.
Yeah, so clearly you're hacking the station. You're causing some weird. Oh, this is the reveal trailer. So this is the last one,
Is it?
or the not.
You might
the
be right.
most
Yep,
recent
that's a
one.
year ago. That's a year ago.
So, but we get to see a little bit more of these 3. So
Yeah.
there's the kind of over people. You actually get to see some gunplay with these weird looking ladder robots. And
you're in space, right? So you're in a space
you
station.
are in space.
Some other outlets have broken down or just theorized. It's like, do we not know? Is this still maybe potentially in the BioShock universe? Because it's almost following that same kind of through line.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Because it's now in space. It's like some kind of society that has these issues. It's like it could still be that, but
yeah,
at least has the DNA of that for sure still.
it kind of has some of the feeling, like, especially when they're in an area that almost looked like a mall or something. You see just all the big letterings of all the shops everywhere.
There's times where the combat,
you see your face is about to glitch out, so I wonder,
there's a time thing going on.
I wonder if you're going to be in a simulation and you're trying to free people from like the Matrix kind of thing.
Oh, interesting. I like that. But yeah, these they look like cutscenes.
Throwing down votes at you. So, but yeah, this area totally looks right out of BioShock.
Right, exactly. But like this combat scene looks like it'd be a cutscene. Like just the graphical quality of it.
Oh,
it looks insane.
Yeah, absolutely.
The lighting is nuts.
Want to see more of the abilities? Yeah, the reconstructing your body. I assume that's the equivalent of whatever the tank thing was in BioShock 1. But
was that like a chef robot that you're fighting?
Go back. So we got the horsey
right here. Oh no, he's got like a saw blade, but he had like a chef's hat for a second.
I wonder if he's like a butcher.
Maybe.
So I wonder too. Like again, he talked in one of his GDC talks, or it was maybe a different thing. He talks about like narrative building blocks and kind of building your own story. Assuming he's still doing that route. So when you see this person being sucked out the window into space, is that maybe part of it? Is this going to have a lot of ways to die or something? I don't know.
Yeah, because you're right. They have, at least Ken Levine has mentioned with this game, they're trying to work on some kind of narrative building block thing like you were talking about, where you have these choices and they're more than we've experienced before. So I wonder how in-depth they're going to go, where you can really change stuff that happens in real time by your decisions. I don't know.
Is that why the letters are shaped like this? As you go from different story nodes, then different ones like kind of pop up?
That'd be cool. Or they say all this and they just give us 3 different endings at the end, like the original BioShock. Where it's
absolutely.
Like, you're
100%.
good, bad, or just your regular.
Did you kill the children?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they showed Judas off. Not a lot of mind-blowing stuff, but it was still a solid state of play. There was that Sonic Generations. Really everything we talked about in that leak that happened, it was basically 1 for 1.
Yep.
So
that leaker's got some street cred there.
Yeah. But it was exciting. I'm very stoked for what's coming up. A lot of third-party stuff, which people are kind of picking apart, where it's like not a lot of first-party stuff from PlayStation, at least with this state of play.
Didn't all their first-party studios like just put something out last year?
Sort of, yeah. You have, we covered this in that PlayStation. We did a recap, me and Callum, all the studios, what they're officially working on and what we could theorize. And yeah, a lot of them are kind of, we already know what they have in the docket. One big one was that remake studio that they acquired, Bluepoint. We don't know what they're working on.
I thought it was confirmed they were working on Silent Hill, or is that somebody else?
That's Bloober Team.
Oh, Jesus, I can't keep
which is what they showed at the State of Play too. A lot of people weren't happy with that trailer. Did you have any feelings?
But that's something we almost skipped over. They put out a demo. I forget what it was called.
It's a short story or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Short
it's
message.
it's only supposed to take like 2 hours to beat. Like I didn't even realize it came out until I like to go to howlongtobeat.com and sort by shortest and just try and find a game I can beat in a weekend. And this was currently one of the shortest games out there.
Yeah, it's on there. I think I even downloaded it, but then after the fact, I did see outlets just saying it's not very good.
Oh.
So I will try it, but that kind of just like threw a wet blanket over my enthusiasm for it.
Oh, that sucks. It looks good. So
yeah,
if the final game looks this good. Now, is this made by Bloober?
This is the one. I don't know what the short message one, but Bloober is working on this, who made the Medium a couple years ago.
Oh, okay.
We didn't get a date on this trailer, which I found weird because they've been working on this for a while.
How did you feel about the Medium?
I didn't stay on for very long. It had a lot of cool ideas. It was gorgeous, but it just kind of wasn't different enough for me to keep playing.
Gotcha.
This doesn't look too bad. I know people online, it seemed like it wasn't super positive, the reactions to it.
Okay. I mean, this almost looks like Oh, this is Silent Hill.
This is the actual Silent Hill
remake
that we're watching.
This almost looks like RE engine quality.
Yeah, and although people were kind of they had issues with the combat, where it seems like they're leaning heavily on that Resident Evil 2 remake style.
Sure.
And I think the original Silent Hill, you have combat in it, but it's really like you're meant to just piss your pants, be scared the whole time. Like you're not really feeling like you have any chance against these enemies. But I haven't played the original in a long time. But they showed that, and I'm kind of like, I'm optimistic. I don't have a whole lot of hope, but I'm hoping that this is what Konami, I'm hoping they make enough off of this to go like, okay, we have all these properties. Let's actually go back. Like Metal Gear, they're sitting on.
Pull a Sega and just whip all their properties out. I feel like I said that last week too, but still, everyone pull a Sega.
Really, it's Capcom. Pull the Capcom and do it the right way, because they're the ones that are actually giving the love and attention to all their stuff.
Well, yeah, they do that. I was gonna say Capcom kind of, they've got a lot they're sitting on, but they've also got like a bajillion properties. Like,
they do.
What's the stretchy arm guy that stretches his arms and grabs stuff?
Stretchy Mr. Fantastic.
Bionic Commando.
Oh, that's Konami. Yeah, you're right. Did people play it though enough to like? Because that one that came out was like Xbox 360.
I know they played Rearmed. I don't know about the brutal realistic version that came out at the same time.
Oh, right, because there was like a 2D remaster remake of it.
Yeah,
that does remind me of a story that I have here about Konami.
Okay.
Which I will switch over to.
Is this layoffs, unfortunately?
No, this one's a positive one.
Okay.
That is here at the end of the docket.
I will take a positive.
It's about Capcom. So Capcom just recently, they asked players if they want sequels to some of the properties. So Okami, Dead Rising, Mega Man,
Dino Crisis.
That's one of them. So IGN has the article. I guess it's there's a survey you can take on their website where they're literally asking you, and they list a bunch of them. One of them's Dino Crisis, Okami, Onimusha, Dead Rising, Mega Man. They're just saying, hey, do you have any interest in us doing a remaster of these properties? So they're at least like, they know what they're sitting on. I guess they need to see what people want to actually play to throw the resources at it. But at least they care enough. People always at least on Twitter, they're always asking for Dino Crisis. That's one I always hear.
It's that. Were those games even that good?
I don't know. I never played them, but they're always like, they're kind of synonymous, or they're side by side with Resident Evil,
right?
Because they're that survival horror. It's just dinosaurs instead. But that could be cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, did they put up Mega Man Legends 3 that I believe got like most of the way done and then they canceled it?
Really?
I could be wrong on that one. But
weren't they kind of, at least in the past 5-7 years, they were making Mega Man games still, right?
I think they still are.
Yeah. I've just never been a huge Mega Man fan. I know they brought back the original artwork for one of the newer ones. That was a big deal. Like the cheesy looking dude in a suit artwork. They brought it back for.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Do you know the story behind that one?
No.
They gave that guy fucking nothing to work on. They're like, oh, he's like in the future and he's got a gun. Okay. Sure.
And just make a weird stance or whatever.
That's how they got that crazy piece of artwork. But awesome. And he's proud of that story because it's funny to him.
And you're telling me nothing. I have to just pull this out of my ass.
It's kind of like the guy that made the although he's not as proud of it, but the guy that made what was the game that people blame the crash of Atari on?
E.T.?
Yeah, the E.T. game. They gave him
like a week or whatever.
Yeah, I don't even think it was that. I think they gave him 72 hours and barely any of the plot for the movie.
Yikes.
So he was just coming in working on nothing. Yeah,
it's like there's a bunch of this style, but it's basically this kind of dude here.
At least they told him that he was blue.
Yeah, sort of.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's original.
I don't remember. Did they give this guy half an hour to do this? This is
But yeah.
Oh, I forgot that they put original Bomberman in I think is that
the
Street Fighter or is that Marvel vs. Capcom?
It reminds me of.
I think that's Marvel vs. Capcom.
I see. Gotcha. Yeah, we had the state of play. A lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
We can jump into some of the news if you want. We do have. We're gonna try and play some Steam Next Fest games.
Yes, very excited. I didn't see as many, and I think it's hard. Like I'm sure maybe some of the cream or whatever
cream
the cream will rise. Yeah, the crop will rise to the top or whatever. So I'm hoping because right now I haven't seen a ton that's really lit my jimmies on fire.
Yeah, there's a couple there was one that I was waiting for that's Hellskate that I have downloaded too.
Oh,
that was
right.
cool.
I'm excited for that. I did see the Pacific Drive put out a demo, and
Whoa.
your progress transfers to the full game.
Oh, I'm absolutely gonna play that.
Yeah,
That's
but
nuts.
does
I'm
not
really
work on
stoked.
Steam Deck though. I tried
see.
it let me download it, but it
Even like dropping everything down to 0, like all the
no,
settings.
it's not that. It when I tried to launch it, it said C++ runtime must be installed. So it's literally like an installation issue.
I see.
Which
Do you
is
have
weird.
to like do a mod or not a mod, but like there's people that load what's the Duck OS Linux that do like can you if you did that could you then play?
No, well, I mean, I'm sure there is a fix. That being said, I'm also pretty sure I have the C++ runtime because don't you remember like back in the day when like any game you ever installed on Steam ever was like, oh, we got to reinstall DirectX. We got to reinstall this shit that you've installed every game ever.
Even though you have it, but it's just like not seeing it kind of thing.
So yeah, I think it's one of those. I'm sure I have it, but I'm so stoked for that game. That is kind of my number one right now.
That's February, right?
Yeah, I think it's the 22nd, which concerns me because I'm also like I'm giving myself permission to be absolutely crushed if this game is garbage. So I really hope it's not.
I get the vibe it's at least going to be fine, or they're going to start fixing whatever because they might be buggy, at launch. But I think that'd be my worst fear. There's just going to be a lot of bugs and stuff.
Right.
There's also Helldivers 2 comes out very soon, and I'm really stoked for that game.
I didn't realize that was I should have, but it was like a Sony and PC exclusive.
Well, it's on PC. Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, it's on PC. I thought NPC, and I was like, Sony NPC.
I see. But you get it for free if you have PlayStation Plus, right?
I don't know for sure.
Okay. Do you have
possible.
PlayStation Plus?
No.
Okay.
I don't play enough online, at least on PlayStation, to like. And then they have the games you get, but it's just never been enough for me to do it. But
I was shocked watching some previews of it, and there are just bullets flying every which way, and it sounds like it is happy to murder you.
And there's friendly fires on all the time, so you're going to kill your friends.
Probably easier than in the first one, where if you didn't want to get hit by friendly fire, you'd have to duck, but you'd also have to hope that your friend isn't trying to avoid friendly fire by ducking.
So it just hits you, or what?
You just both duck and
yeah.
But yeah.
I'm stoked.
Yeah, sorry.
You're good.
Got some news.
Yep. It's the biggest one right now is Microsoft plans Starfield launch on PS5, and this all started kind of unfolding.
Is this official now?
It is not. It's
okay.
not. Yeah, but we'll get it. We'll go down the rabbit hole of.
Okay, I'll let you paint a picture here. Oh, I remember this level.
Yeah, of Starfield.
Yeah, I do. I remember that very.
Yeah, it's early gameplay for Starfield.
This is where I pissed off I had one NPC that I liked, and I was on a staircase somewhere, and I did the like make people rise up gravity thing. And from Googling online, what happened was that happened to some NPCs on the floor below because it can go through floors.
Okay.
And that pissed her off, and she wasn't going to talk to me. And they give the most generic bullshit, like, you know what you did.
Like, I literally don't.
So one of these days I need to go into the console and just make her unmad at me. But
I see.
Yeah. Sorry.
Well, I pulled up the Starfield B-roll because that's part of this. So Microsoft plans Starfield launch on PS5. This dropped from XboxEra.com on Sunday. For many weeks now, rumors have persisted regarding Microsoft intentions to release a number of first-party games. So the first big ones, over the past weeks, were Hi-Fi Rush and Sea of Thieves were rumored to launch. Yeah. And we're talking about that. It's like not a crazy big deal. It seems like that seems in line with them kind of, just branching out and having stuff release on other platforms. But then Monday, we get Microsoft from VGC.com. Microsoft has reportedly considered bringing not only Starfield, but Gears of War franchise to PlayStation.
Oh, shit, really?
So, yeah, that's according to Giant Bomb's Jeff Grubb, who was elaborating on recent claims that Microsoft is working on a new initiative to release more Xbox exclusive games on other console platforms. So as of that Sunday, Monday, yesterday, and today, it's like just been progressively like now people in the mix are saying it's part of this bigger push to move a lot of their first-party games that are not even that old to PlayStation as well.
Okay.
So this is also from PlayStationLifestyle.net. A report claims that Microsoft has been acquiring PS5 dev kits as part of its efforts to release some Xbox games on the platform. So all that stuff is going haywire, right? Sunday, Monday. On Monday, yesterday, finally we get Phil Spencer chimes in on Twitter. He says, we're listening and we hear you. We've been planning a business update event
He starts every tweet like that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good. He says, we've been listening. We hear you. We're planning a business update event for next week where we look forward to sharing some details with you about our vision for the future of Xbox. His tweet basically confirms something's going on. We don't know what properties are actually going to make it over to PlayStation, but it's basically this is happening in some way. We're going to talk about it. Well, one thing that kind of rubbed me the wrong way was they're going to wait a week. All this stuff is like happening in real time, and they're going, you know what, we'll see you next week.
I wonder if they already had something planned.
It seems like it, but like the shit has now hit the fan.
Yeah.
Jump on it and talk about it.
Well, what was that studio that like it was Rockstar when they're like, oh, the trailer, fuck, get it out.
Yeah. That's kind of I understand there's a lot more, things at work, but that's kind of the move that makes sense to me where it's like, it's the internet. It's going to internet. It's going to do what it does where people just start talking. And otherwise you let all these outlets, and now the kind of mood on, at least on Twitter, a lot of these media outlets, it's like, is Xbox dead? Are they not making consoles anymore? Is it just going software? Now that's all people are talking about. So if you don't want that to be the conversation, you have to rush those plans now and start telling people what those plans are. Because you have diehards that are like, why am I going to buy an Xbox console now if all this stuff is going to release on PlayStation?
And that's the thing too. I mean, I'm from the position of I have a PC, so if it's not, and I can get everything on PC or on Xbox on my PC. So if I was going to buy any console, it has to be PlayStation.
Yeah,
I have no reason.
Because those games are released, their first party stuff is locked there.
Yeah.
And now we don't know yet, but it seems like it's going that way where Xbox is now letting you really choose. But then that means, why do I need that exclusive console unless I prefer that ecosystem to play them in?
Yeah.
One aspect of this is it seems like they're going to take the route of their first party stuff when it launches, it's on Game Pass, and then you're going to wait 6 months, maybe longer, and then you play that game. So it's something you really want to play, you then want to have an Xbox or a PC, really, and then it's going to go elsewhere.
I wonder if that may work out, because you see that with like a lot of companies look at that second boost you see when it goes from like Epic Store to Steam or
PlayStation does this too. Their games eventually go to PC, or some of them have.
Right, and those get a big boost on there. So it could pay off. I think they want to be a service, not necessarily.
Yeah, I think we're in this year we're basically going to have to come to terms with, it seems like Microsoft's strategy is for Xbox to survive.
Right.
They're going to try and really focus on Game Pass and the service that you have. Right. Xbox is a service and not really a console. They're going to I would imagine they're still going to make consoles. They have that plan for that all digital cylindrical Xbox One that had leaked.
Right.
So it's like they're still going to make hardware, but it's just if they only release these games on their hardware with the sales that they have, it's like it's shooting themselves in the foot because they can't sell as much software. So why not branch out? It's also just a bummer to those fans that are like, I bought an Xbox for a reason.
Right.
I don't share that same mentality because it's just like the stuff is expensive, but it is still kind of affordable where it's like if you really want to, you can try and get a PS5, an Xbox, or you can get like the Xbox Series S, which is way cheaper. So it's like you can, dabble in all these different ecosystems, but I don't know if everyone really does that at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Go ahead.
You go.
Well, I mean, it definitely will help with a lot of these, especially the multiplayer titles. And I know, so I think the rumors this week were mainly about Sony, but haven't there been rumors for a while they want to bring it to Switch as well, which is going to be a lot harder unless they're coming to the Switch too, which hopefully that's the case. But if they can, I mean, they got their multiplayer on everything. You're going to have your son or daughter going over to their friends. Their friends playing on the PlayStation. You got it on your Xbox. You got it on your Switch. Like, that's so much money for them right there. But
yeah, it makes business sense for sure.
Hopefully, it makes business sense.
Right. It's just also the optics aren't great for them to then. It's almost like a quick pivot.
Yeah.
And it was strange to have their last whatever they call their directs. They're kind of Xbox focused streams. They had one recently where they talked about a bunch of games, and I felt it was really strong. So it was like, oh, this year seems like they've been through all the shit. Now all these first party games, these first party studios are releasing stuff, and it feels like 2024 is going to be a really strong year. So it sucks to have that, and then to see like maybe these games aren't going to be stuck on this platform where it just felt like if we're following that same console model where these consoles have their exclusives, they were finally like they're paying off. They're finally having all this stuff that was coming to market, and it's like, well, it might not matter anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it does kind of make you wonder if they just took one too many hits. I doubt it. They have more money than God at this point.
Yeah. Also tied with this is like, was it last week? They reached some kind of plateau as far as like businesses go.
Yeah. What was that?
It's a ton of money.
Is it 3 trillion or
it's something like that? Where it's like only other companies like Apple have reached this like plateau of how much money, how much of a war chest they have. They reached that, but it's also just Microsoft as a whole. It seems like Xbox console sales, from what I've seen people talk about, that's the thing that's lagging behind. So it's like even their software does sell well, like when it goes to PC, but it's just like people aren't increasing the amount of actual consoles that they buy.
Yeah, and that's still one of the weirdest things at the end of the day is really they're probably still taking a loss on these consoles. They just need to drive people into their ecosystem, and if they're not, I don't know, man. It's so weird.
One thing that worries me is, and I pulled up this tweet from Andy Robinson, who's over at Video Games Chronicle. He just kind of puts into context in this long tweet how PS4, the launch time frame with that, they planned on releasing the iToy thing. They're like Connect equivalent.
Right.
That was going to be bundled in, and it was going to be $100 more. So it was going to match. It was going to be $500 for the PS4 launch.
Right.
But to compete with Xbox, they made that a separate thing, and they dropped that PS4 by $100 to compete with Xbox to make them price wise at least cheaper than that original Xbox launch.
Okay.
So you have that because they have to compete with each other. But then if in this scenario, if it is doom and gloom for Xbox, where they're just like, we're going to focus less on consoles and just software, then that just brings back asshole Sony of like the PS3 era, where they just make these radical decisions and go, people will buy it, who cares? So if you remove this, basically their biggest competitor besides like Switch, which are not in the same line.
Right.
If you remove them out of the case, then you bring back Sony not having to give a shit at all and just kind of making these moves that aren't consumer friendly at all.
Right. And they're also in a weird state right now. And I don't hate to act like the console wars are like a hugely important thing because they're really not anymore.
Yeah.
But like you have Sony in a weird space where they're kind of in a spot of betting on these live service games that are they're going out of fashion very quickly.
I would say so, yeah.
So I don't know.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird, and the weird part is we just don't know what's official yet, and they're going to make us wait a week when just like it's not great marketing right now for them. Like I wouldn't wait that long to talk about it.
It's keeping things exciting. We had Sony this week. We had was it Microsoft last week or something last week? But although speaking of live service, should we talk about Suicide Squad?
Yeah, another shitty live service game. Now we haven't played
prestigious. Well, you played
I played the very little of the pre-beta thing that had come out.
Yeah.
But we finally got some actual reviews here because a lot of these outlets didn't get codes beforehand, so they're playing along with everybody.
I should also note we were kind of excited for this last week.
Yeah, and it seems like from reading a lot of the just snippets of reviews, this seems like a game where it's like I wouldn't play full price, but I would try this for like $30, or if I went to Game Pass or something.
You're not going to pay $70 for this?
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Plus
especially
all
the end game content. Like I don't think it's there.
Yeah.
But here's some of the reviews here. Just a quick thing from Shinobi602 on Twitter. So we got Push Square gave it a 7. Then it goes down from there. Game Informer 6, IGN 5, which is pretty rough. GameSpot 5, Eurogamer 3 out of 5. So their Metacritic score is 63 right now. It's not looking great.
Yeah, it's still a good looking game. One heavy criticism I heard is like, so they all have these vastly different traversal methods, and they are not built equally. Like Killshot is apparently very fun. But
from the gameplay, like you can kind of hover for a while, and I imagine you upgrade that over time. I'm assuming, and that seems pretty cool.
Well, there's like a finesse to it. So you're gonna do a boost, and then you're gonna land, and then you're gonna slide, and then you're gonna jump back up, and then do it. So
although Boomerang has his teleport, that seems fun.
Yeah.
Harley Quinn has the Spider-Man grappling hook, basically.
Yeah, that specifically the Spider-Man that doesn't have to attach to anything.
Oh yeah, because she has her magic. It's like a drone thing.
Yeah,
so it's just wherever you want.
So
and then oh god, the shark guy, King Shark. That's what I played
That
in the
sounds
beta.
right. Yeah.
And
Did you
he's
find
just
him very fun to traverse with?
his whole thing because he's the only one that with actual superpower, so he's able to like
Right.
jump really high, kind of like the Hulk. So it does balance where he's able to still maneuver around. But if you're picking him, you want that kind of tank aspect because he has heavier
Right.
weapons that he has too. So he's not as nimble as everybody, but it does balance somewhat.
Hmm. Well, it's
Yeah,
we'll see.
I'm interested, and it seems like if you know what it is going into it, it's not as much of a shock.
Right.
But the whole thing is with these live service games, it's what kind of content do you have after you beat it? Because it seems like the campaign, from what I've seen, is about 8 to 10 hours.
Yeah.
So it's like you're going to be living in the end game stuff, but it's just I don't know if that's enough there to. It seems like a lot of rinse repeat levels at the end game.
Right. So that was something I watched a little bit. The same streamer that I was watch start the thing. I was watching him in the end game content, and it didn't look like there was a lot to do, but it has the same problem I have with like Diablo, where like once you get to the end of it, like and he gets into combat, the whole screen is exploding, and your explosions cause explosions, and those explosions
Okay.
cause explosion. It's just absolute chaos,
Yeah.
which is insane. And I don't know, that doesn't seem super fun to me. That being said, I totally requested that you download a game that is exactly that.
Okay.
So I'm a giant ass hypocrite.
Well, it's a
It's-
time and place, I guess, or it's like how
yeah,
do you balance that kind of stuff on screen?
yeah. But I guess if you're going to be live service, I don't know. I object to, but
Yeah, it's this was never for me on paper, but
right,
I'm willing to eventually give it a shot. And really, what we'll see what is the proof of this thing is how it sells.
right,
So, I think in the next week or two, maybe we'll see. I haven't seen any reports from Rocksteady on sales, and usually if it's like doing gangbusters, and they talk about it right away. Think of
right.
like Power World was like every day it was X amount of million that they're sold. They would definitely be throwing that up there if they had it.
Yeah, oh, that makes sense. It's yeah. I
But
forget that this is like Arkham Universe, like
it
because that's
is.
the Arkham Universe penguin right there. That's
Yeah.
what he. That's so
It seems like some people also had an issue where if they would have created this different universe, that they wouldn't have
right.
the controversy with killing these characters. There's like the Batman that's known from or that comes from that Arkham universe.
Yeah,
Killing him wouldn't have been such a sensitive thing if it was like a different Batman.
yeah. I hear they kind of do him dirty, so
Yeah,
that's too bad.
but we'll see. We'll see what people the legs of this game and people keep playing it. Yeah, if it was on Game Pass, I'd give it a solid try. Honestly,
Same as well.
but right now for $100 or whatever, not playing it.
Next week we'll get it for free on Epic.
Epic Store.
Freebies. They're gonna bring out. Although I saw the next free game they're putting out is Doki Doki Literature Club, so I'm gonna have to finally play
That
that.
sounds familiar.
It's like a weird. My understanding is it starts off as like a schoolgirl dating sim, and then it gets real weird and dark. Like it's
It's
going
Doki Doki what?
Doki Doki Literature Club.
Is
There
there a
you go.
Doki Doki Panic?
Yes.
Okay, is it the same kind of?
No.
No.
I couldn't tell you what Doki Doki means, so I don't know. Yeah, so it's like super super young.
It's gonna give me a virus if I play this
No,
game.
maybe. But yeah, so it's like this kind of visual novel, but then it goes real weird and dark with it.
Hmm.
So
There's a lot of reading in this.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But this was
This is on
like
Kindle or this is a.
I I know it's on Steam, but it's
Okay.
this is some big like YouTuber bait
Yeah.
stuff.
It's
There we go. There you got some getting weird.
Is there
with
like
it.
horror aspects to it?
Yeah.
Okay, I could
Yeah.
get down with like taking this in a route that you wouldn't expect because I think of just like some kind of weird hentai game.
Although speaking of on a similar tone, did I tell you I played this game called Slay the Princess that a lot of people are talking about?
That sounds familiar, but I don't know if you talked about playing it.
It's like this black and white kind of sketch art game that a lot of people have been talking about recently, and it takes like 2 hours to beat, and it's very fucking weird. Also dark. Also, you're in a time loop, so like you keep going back and killing her, and different stuff happens depending on the way you did it.
Now
And like
is there like 4 of these?
For Slay the Princesses?
Yeah, there's like a bunch of sequels.
I think this is the first one.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's a trip. It's one of those, I don't think you would like it, but it does have some like Lost level bullshit story going on.
Interesting.
That's very weird. But it's cool also seeing all the endings. It's something like they get very fucking weird depending on what you do.
I can swear that I was going through PSN and saw this, at least a thumbnail.
Oh, really?
Like of games that were on sale recently, and that's why it seems familiar.
I didn't see that ending. That's not. There's a ton of endings. Is this all the endings?
I don't know. It's just walkthrough full game footage that we're looking at.
This one I got.
It's pretty dope, actually.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind the art style being just like better, if that makes any sense.
Oh,
I like what they're doing, but it's like just a higher quality.
So that's the other thing that was cool about it, and I'm kind of spoiling it, unfortunately, but you're never gonna play it. But like, so you, whenever you go back in time, so there's a narrator in your head that you can argue with, but also there's every time you go back in time, there's a new, depending on like how you react to the first question, there's another voice in your head that has like a personality based on how you answer that first question. And if you die again, you can get like another one, and they can't talk to the narrator, but they can hear the narrator.
Whoa.
So it's a very weird concept of that, like traveling back in time, and oh shit, some of the voices still remember what just happened, but sometimes if you die a different way, then those voices don't come with. So it's very weird. It was very cool.
And what's the gameplay like? So are you dealing with
just picking dialogue choices?
Gotcha. But you can select dialogue choices with these voices and also the choices that you're making in the game at the same time?
Just your choices. You can only control your choices.
Oh, I see. Okay. Gotcha.
And trying to either murder or save this princess, which
but you can respond to your voices in your head, though. Or that's just something that's always happening?
Man, I feel like yes, but also I think it's mostly they kind of respond to your responses.
Okay.
But it's very cool. As I continue down my time loop rabbit hole that I've been going down recently, it was added.
You're seeking out games that are kind of loopy.
It's just a weird itch I've got.
Did you ever play 12 Minutes? That was a Game Pass game.
I started to at the start of my fever,
because that's
and it is very jank. I was not aware how jank it was.
Oh, well, I was playing on Xbox, but when it came out,
you were even playing. I felt like playing with the controller made it more jank, but it like some of the animations are just very.
I think the jank could be sometimes I wouldn't know what I could manipulate or not.
Sure.
And that could have been due to the controller. Maybe with a mouse you can just select stuff, but it seems like not. But it was a game that I sat on the couch and played with Megan next to me, and it was cool to just like try and figure out, what we can change every playthrough.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, Megan says 12 Minutes was dope. It was cool, and then the end is so weird and like divisive too.
Right.
I found I liked then going online, just seeing people like being horrified, and some people were just like, that's weird, but yeah, I liked just trying to unravel the story. I don't know the dev, but I'm really interested to see what they do after this too.
I remember. I mean, this didn't come out that long ago, so it might be.
We were at the last house, so well, you know what? Damn, I don't. I remember us being at the last house.
You
so
were
I
at the last house,
years.
but it might have been right before you left.
Yeah, but that's 2 years ish.
Yeah. So yeah,
it was a really cool idea. Nice. Well, Gavin, we could jump into one of the last things, then we'll play some Next Fest games.
Sure.
This was popping off today. This is IGN. Unionizing. This is IGN staff votes to unionize. So Variety.com has the article. There's a bunch of outlets talking about it, and they have their own special Twitter page dedicated to it. But employees at IGN, the popular video game and entertainment media site, have announced that they are unionizing with the News Guild CWA labor union. The IGN Creators Guild consists of editorial and creative workers at IGN. So far they have 80 employees that are, I want to say, signed up. So the guild is currently made of over 80 employees, with 80% of the eligible members signing union authorization cards.
I didn't realize they were 80 members strong at IGN. That's way bigger than I would have thought. But I guess they also, well, I don't know how
it seems like that's just so far the people that they've gotten to join this or this request to unionize.
But they're also not just IGN US. Like they have IGN Japan.
Yeah. How do unions work when it's international, though? Would it just be, I assume this is just kind of IGN in America, but it
I
could
would
go beyond that.
assume that as well. I like their logo though. It's very cool. I'm
Yeah.
curious what these signatures they're, signing for support
Yeah,
of the
so
union.
you
What does
can
that do?
as a person sign your support, and which they go in the tagline saying like where we then show this to whatever higher ups that we have, a
Okay.
community that supports us in following this too. I don't know what kind of weight that carries. I did once you sent me this too, I was looking into it and just going over because I follow a lot of the bigger IGN people that are
Right.
still working there, that still do media stuff, and there's some I just find it interesting the ones that have talked about it and the ones that haven't, like that haven't changed the
Okay.
logo. And I wonder when it comes to a union, it's always something that a corporation or a business never wants to happen. It's like because it seems like it's
Right.
power that's being taken away from them,
Right.
and it's more power in the employee side. But I also remember that it's just very legally. It's like you can't, as a business, try and influence how people do it. Like there's
Right.
laws where you can't
except
stop
for
them.
when they do.
Right. Like Starbucks was a big one where it's like they really try and nip it in the bud, but you can't publicly or obviously do that. You have to do these like
Right.
trickery to make sure it's like, oh, we're not stopping you from unionizing, but
Gotta-
it's always a negative thing. So I wonder with these bigger personalities on IGN, the ones that haven't talked about it, have they been told not to, or
I assume so.
right? But then it's like, but you can't directly do this. So how do they make that dance of we don't want you to say anything, but we can't also tell you not to say anything about it?
I do not a clue.
It's weird.
That's got to be a weird one.
But there's some big ones that are very popular that haven't said anything. But there's a lot that are popular that have, that I thought would have also just been like head down, not saying something.
Right. I don't know. I'd be curious how much they actually want to fight, because I know one of the people seem different than they sometimes are, but like I know one of the I think he's an owner that shows up on like the podcast regularly. It's just like a sweetie. So I don't. But also, if they have 80 employees, that's a lot more employees than I thought they have. So
Yeah,
I don't know how much money this company actually makes to employ
Right.
80 employees.
And it could. My gut tells me it's more than that. I wonder if this is just so far the ones that are signing up within
Right.
this, where they're based out of like San Francisco. So if in that main
Ooh.
office,
Yeah.
I don't know. And it's also this weird like, not catch-22. It's like this weird thing where IGN they're the biggest video game outlet in the world for sure, and they always comment when unionizing is happening elsewhere in the video game industry. They're like the first outlet to talk about it, one of the first ones.
Mhm.
And so when it's happening to them, it's just weird to see how then it becomes just like every other corporation where it's like this hush hush kind of thing.
Right.
And they're I'm sure going to try and sweep it under the rug or convince people not to do it somehow. It's just weird to see them then just fall back to every other corporation.
It also might be a bit soon, because how soon did this even happen?
Yeah, it was announced today.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know
A lot of
how long it takes or what kind of fighting is happening behind the scenes.
Right.
But yeah, they're fighting for, there's they lay it all down on the website, but like just more fair pay, job security. There's all kinds of layoffs that are happening, so some kind of assurance
Right.
that they're keeping their jobs, or just different like payment plans that happen when you do get fired. So they're just trying to make that all fair,
Right.
and it makes sense to me. But I wonder how it's going to go down.
I do wonder how this will affect certain, because there are aspects we might not be thinking of, like when like somebody shadow drops a game. It's like, all right, you got to drop. You're not going to go to sleep tonight because you're going to work on this.
Yeah.
They say these 80 employees. What are some of the conditions for some people lower on the totem pole or whatever it is? Yeah. So I'm sure there's a lot that being outsiders we can't see in their world.
Yeah, and there's just all we can do is like glean information from, because I'll listen to various podcasts where whether it's within IGN or people that have left IGN, somewhat talk about the work environments, and it's never like crazy negative, but they do talk about how they crunch a lot on stuff because news is always happening.
Mm-hmm.
There's guides that are always like, game guides are super extensive. You're playing every aspect of the game before it comes out, so you can't just go to the internet because you're writing the guide that people are going to read in the first place. So it's just like a lot of pressure to put a review out before everyone else. So trying to balance that out where it's like they can do this but still have a life. And it echoes the game industry itself too, because crunch is a big thing in the industry.
Right.
And IGN comments on that, and they're always pretty, positive on like making sure people know it's happening.
Right.
But it's also happening within IGN too, and it has been for a while.
I mean, that's kind of, and you think about like E3 back when. I mean, that's gone now, but
Right. But that was a huge crunch thing where it's just like you're there on set or on the scene, just trying to pump out articles and stuff in real time, and yeah, it's
72 hours at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's.
But good on them. Hopefully, it works out.
They can join my union.
Yeah, the Cumboys. Good luck to the Cumboys. Now, Gavin, we'll jump into
Cum
some
squad.
Steam.
Thank you very much.
Okay, the Kumquats would be the
Kumquats. Oh my god, that's the shirt.
Yeah. Went it there for the week, Gavin. You can find us online on Twitter at Plastic Art Pod. Gavin, you'll tell the beautiful people out there good night.
Good night, beautiful people.
Gavin, I can't leave my screen.
I know. We die here.
There we go.
Okay.
Now you can officially tell them good night, Gavin.
All right. Good night, everyone.